Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my NHL 20 franchise mode here in the state of hockey. In the previous episode, we absolutely whooped the Winnipeg Jets in an absolute barn burner, but only a barn burner for us. I tried going somewhere with that, but we swept him. That's the only thing you can really say about that series. Only positive things. 2 shutouts, 3 games with 1 goal or less. And geez Louise, our offense was just great from the start of that series, and it didn't die down. A phenomenal series. Honestly, I thought Winnipeg was going to give up a bigger fight. I usually see 3-0 deficits play out a little bit longer, for us at least, but I gave them a little bit of a talk before that series about not closing them out, and they did it. In Winnipeg, we've had over a week to just play around, enjoy ourselves, just relax, but Minnesota doesn't relax. It's been a while since we've been in this situation, okay? You go all the way back. Philadelphia Flyers. We couldn't close out. We lost in 6, if I'm not mistaken. We were up 2-0. We were up 2-0 games against Philadelphia, and we lost 4 straight. Now we win 2 Stanley Cups in a row. Those were sweet as hell. First Stanley Cup, delicious. Second Stanley Cup felt even better. But it's been a while. We've had relatively the same club since going back to back. But this would feel that much better. You know, the last few seasons we've been so good. The last few Stanley Cup runs have been iffy. This is season 3? 3 seasons without a cup. It's been a little iffy. We've been the best regular season team, no doubt about it. We're playing a New York Rangers team who hasn't had a Stanley Cup in quite some time. And before we can get to the New York Rangers lineup, let's check what Minnesota did through 3 rounds, sorry. I don't know why I said 2. 16 games combined. Obviously, Quinn Hughes leads us in points, but let's talk about the forwards. There's a few forwards who I talked pretty highly of and had a little criticism through 2 rounds. We head into the Western Conference Finals. Cale Newman was one of those guys that I looked at who had a terrible plus-minus. He was a -7, man. He goes out there in a sweep, and he goes off, and he has a phenomenal series. 19 points in 16 games. He's down to a -7 or up. I don't know how you would say that. He was damn good. Quietly, Anthony Francis had a phenomenal series, man. 19 points, 10 goals. Same points as Cale Newman. Gonna say Anthony Francis has been the more dominant player just with that +10 and 6 penalty minutes. Jeez Louise. There's not much more you can say about Anthony Francis. He's looking for cup number 3. After losing after losing the Art Ross and potentially the MVP this season, he's never had an NHL season without those 2 awards. He's looking for the Stanley Cup. That's all he cares about right now, as long as he gets his name back on the Stanley Cup for the 3rd time in his young career. Alexei Pietrangelo was also quiet. Langleiter and Pietrangelo stepped it the hell up that series. They scored goals every game, it felt like. I think they might have. They were so important. Pietrangelo might even be the most impressive forward. +14, 1 less point than Francis. You can debate it either way. They've all been really important for us. Langleiter stepped it up. I saw his name plenty of times. Same with Pietrangelo. They've all been very important. And Jack Eichel is a man of A man who quietly having a phenomenal, a standout postseason, coming over from Buffalo, and Buffalo lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. Weeman probably blew it. Ha 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 ha! Love to see it. I mean, for storyline purposes, I would have rather faced Buffalo, but you know how that would have gone. We would have lost in 4 or 7, whichever one. Comes over to Minnesota, has one of the best seasons he's ever had. I mean, let's talk postseason. He missed 4 games. He got injured in game number 1, was out for a little bit, comes back, and he's just been dominant the entire time. Coming back from round number 1, round number 2, he's really, really good. Over a point per game, or just over a point per game. He goes out there, Western Conference Finals, dominates. That's a fact. He's been really, really good. And you can debate, you probably shouldn't have traded for a guy like that. You could have got a cheap center. I agree with that. I don't disagree. But this team needs to win now. But it's about the long game. Yeah, I get that. But all these other teams are getting more and more impressive. You look at Winnipeg, and you look at the Avalanche, and you look at all these young teams. They're going to be good. And Cap is going to crush us. And for the time being, we can afford to go out and get a guy like Jack Eichel for funsies. And he's been important. Kirill Kaprizov, he's all the way down the list. But he continues to be the captain of the Minnesota Wild. Day in, day out. He's probably picked up a little bit of English since coming over to Minnesota in his rookie season, putting up 73 goals. He's been impressive he's been impressive his entire career. He's been more impressive the last few seasons. He's having a quieter postseason, though. He's passing the puck more, scoring a few goals here and there. Great defensively, no penalty minutes. That's a huge positive. But if we want a Stanley Cup, every guy that I just talked about needs to be that much more impressive. Lionel Waters, 6 points, 16 games. Yeah, after our top 6, it kind of gets not iffy, but the points definitely die down. It tends to happen when you roll 3 lines. I know there's a few guys on here who have low points that are in the top 3, or in the top 3 lines. But Jack Eichel, Kaprizov, all those guys are played 20 minutes an evening. Usually, in a postseason situation, probably. We need those guys to be the best. Our depth has been really solid. Lionel Waters with 6 points, Bobby Bobson with 10, or with 5 plus 10, 26 penalty minutes, so I kind of want to take him out of the lineup. Thalberger, 3 goals, Chubasov with 4, Chris Griffin with 4, Gogolev only has 3 goals. He had no points that round. Yeah, so that's the only iffy forward right now. Everybody else has been really good. Okay, our top 6 is where we live and die at. But let's talk about the best defenseman of this generation. Quinn Hughes, 21 points in 16 games. He's making a run at a Conn frickin' Smythe, boys. I hope he does it. Obviously I want Anthony Francis and Newman to pick it up. But I would love to see Quinn Hughes top off his career with a Conn Smythe, even though he's got plenty of time left in his career to do it. I would love it right now. 20 assists, man. Is this his best postseason officially? Is it? No, it can't be. Is it? 21 points. His best was 24 and 25. He tied 21 points in 2024. 21 points. He's definitely got the best points per game average in his postseason run ever. He's making a run at it, boys. Brandt Clark, Quinn Hughes is so impressive. But having Brandt Clark, having Mironov, putting up points every single evening, being so in tune defensively, who took not hometown discounts, but they took discounts on their contracts, were going to get paid pretty soon, are being so good, have played so good. Each and every run we make at a Stanley Cup. Every year. And a young guy like Bissonnette, who has 7 points, plus 11. He's the future. Potvin has been okay. I don't think any of these guys had points. Parrish had 2 points that round. Our defense has been so good. Why do I keep repeating words twice? I don't know. And it always comes down to goaltending. Now, you know I believe in voodoo. And if you don't know that already, I believe goaltenders are an absolute curse. But I don't want to even talk about it. But a certain goalie who starts for the Minnesota Wild, his name may or may not be Christian and end with a Rensfeld, was our MVP last round. He was so good. So good. His stats went up. He was the man. I mean, Mackey won Game 6 in the second round, and we decided to put Rensfeld in until he felt shaky. He wasn't shaky that entire round. The only time he felt shaky was in the third period of game number 3, and we won 7-3. Even if he was shaky in that game, our offense put up the numbers. You know, he had a bad regular season. He put up 50 wins most of his NHL career. Didn't put up the best regular season stats, but we are here in the finals. Mackey has a 420 goals against. Just remember that. Guess what month it is? It's April. 420, everybody. If you're too young for that, I'm so sorry. The New York Rangers. I'm excited to see how they got here. Round number 1, they swept the Washington Capitals. They beat the New Jersey Devils in 6. And in the Eastern Conference Finals, they beat Buffalo in 7. I know a lot of guys were probably cheering for Buffalo to get here just so they could see Weeman and Nolan Patrick embarrass us. But Weeman probably blew it in game number 7. No way, he did blow it in game number 7. New York won 6-2 that game, as you can see in the top right on that bar right there. I don't know why I'm pointing at it. You can't see it. You can see it, but you can't see my finger pointing at it. Weeman's a bust. I'm sorry, that's a fact. But what do the New York Rangers look like in 2029? I really can only recall 1, maybe 2 players on that squad right now as it is. They must be a good team, though. And, oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, this just went from worse to worster. Oh, man. So, let's talk about the cream of the crop, Matthew Savoie. 25 years of age. He's a high franchise potential. 97 overall. And in the regular season this year, he had a goal per game. Oh, did I miss a few games? No, he had 82 in 82. He has won, I think he's won back-to-back Rocket trophies. He had 133 points this year. I believe he was the best scorer in the NHL this season, if I'm not mistaken. He is one of the best players in the NHL. 82 goals. Who was the last player to do that? Probably Hall. And was it the early 90s or the late 80s? I can't really recall, but that's a thing you don't see very often. Only the greatest of all time ever do that. And we are facing him in the Cup Finals. His wingers are Pavel Buchnevich, who is a longtime New York Ranger. I guess he stuck around for a few rebuilds for them. He had 99 points this year, man. Oh no. Matthew Savoie, he has such a good effect for his wingers. And I guess you don't have to have a good center for Capo Caco to be a 97 overall. The most buttery name in the NHL. Yes, I said it. 117 points. I believe that's his best season ever. No doubt about it. When you have 297 overalls on your first line, you are in danger. Their second line, you got Philip Chytil, you have Levi and Aaltonen. And you have Michael Del Cole, who was a troubled New York Islanders prospect. If you don't know much about him, read into it. I mean, he's been bounced around in the New York Islanders system, gotten a few chances here and there, thrown around back and forth. Hopefully he makes his break one day, but he's here in the other New York. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Good for him. The wingers on the second line are a little iffy, but their center depth looks to be incredible. Their third line, Anton Lundell, 27 years of age. He was drafted in 2020 when I believe we picked Lucas Raymond. I don't want to talk about it. It makes me very, very mad. He's a legitimate 30-goal threat in the NHL. He's only played in the NHL for, a few years. Definitely could have been in the NHL sooner, though. But he's been with the New York Rangers his entire career. Homegrown prospect. That's a damn good third-line center. You have Brett Howden and Oliver Moberg. What a name. That's a really, really good third line. Excluding the wingers. The wingers from the second line to the fourth line, excluding Brett Howden, are kind of mediocre. I'm assuming there might be an injury, but Brett Howden is definitely an equalizer to anybody on our bottom 6. Fourth line, you have Ryan Donato, a former Minnesota Wild. When we started this whole franchise mode, he was our second, third line center, sometimes fourth. I really, really liked him. He fit really well in our system. It just didn't work out. We sent him all the way. Where did we send him to? Ottawa? Or did we trade him in the offseason? I think we did. Sent him all the way there. He ended up in New York, bounced around a few places, St. Louis and Colorado for a season each. He's been a pretty good center for the Rangers. You have Adam Radzicka and you have Pontus Aberg. I see their 2 stars. I see Matthew Savoie. I see this forward court living and dying off of Matthew Savoie and Capo Caco. But you could say the same about our offenses too. What does their defense look like? Oh, it doesn't get worse. Uh-oh. Juuso Välimäki. I want to say they traded for this guy not too long ago. Oh, 2 seasons ago. Been a pretty good center. Or did I just say center? You had time to think about that too, Owen. Defenseman. You have Tony DeAngelo, who had a breakout season for the New York Rangers IRL this year. Too bad coronavirus exists and ruins absolutely everything. Yeah, he's a 70-point guy the last few years for the Rangers. Been at least good for 50 points every year. That's a good top pairing. You also have Brady Shea, Pedro Barnaby. Yes, Brady Shea is still on this team because when we started this franchise mode, he wasn't a Carolina Hurricane, or he was, and I finished the rosters already. It was an iffy time to be a roster creator. Pedro Barnaby, who was the 2nd overall pick in 2026, so it looks like they did a quickie rebuild there, or they might have gotten a pick from another team. That is a great young defenseman to have. You have Gabriel Carlson and Jakob Slavin. You know what? We talk about the other teams that we faced in the postseason so far. They have their top guys, and they have great depth. And the New York Rangers are definitely on the top tier of defenses I've seen in the postseason so far. But what does their goaltending look like? Alexander Georgiev. Their backup is Keaton Chang. 84 overall. He was not great in the regular season. He did post 43 wins. I will give him credit there. Was Chang their backup? Did he play in the regular season? He did. Not as bad as I thought he'd be. 9-7. Okay. I mean, I hope Georgiev breaks both of his legs getting out onto the Minnesota ice, but that's just me. It doesn't matter what overall goaltender you have. It really doesn't. It just depends on how well you simulate. It really doesn't. So don't ever spend too much money on your goaltending. Literally, don't ever. Do they have any scratch players? They have Brandon Montour, Dougie Hamilton, an age-grizzled vet in Dougie Hamilton, who A long, long time ago, we were going to trade for it, but we didn't end up doing. And then we have Luke Green. Yeah, this team is great. This team is great. It seems like they're making a run at it. They're young. They got their older guys, and they're here for a good reason. But we want to win Cup number 3. It all starts with one step. 4 wins shy of our franchise's 3rd Stanley Cup. Here we go. Game number 1. Home ice advantage. First period. And we start off this series with 2 goals against. Capo Caco scores early. And Philip Shithill. We only had 6 shots. Okay. The moment I give my goaltender a little bit of credit, he goes and puts, it's 2 goals against. I know it's only 2 goals. Please. Please, Rensfeld. Please, for the love of God, don't crap the bed now. Second period. Oh, you literally had to go and do that. 17 get your... Ooh. You're going to lose your job fast if you keep this up, Rensfeld. I'm sorry, that's a fact. That's a fact. I have so much confidence in you through that 3rd round. I'm like, okay, I'll break my thing and talk good about you. And you go and do this in game number 1. Ooh, I have a short fuse. In game number 1, we get absolutely dominated. Our offense was phenomenal in the 3rd round, and it goes by the wayside. We get absolutely dismantled through 60 minutes. Pavel Buchnevich, insult to injury, and we drop game number 1 on home ice. That was on a few different people. Defense can't really do much if your goaltender can't stop a few. And that was a terrible game number 1 flop. That starts us off on a bad foot. I won't hesitate to put Mackey in. I won't. Because Mackey won us game number 6 of the 2nd round. I won't hesitate. Rensfeld, pick it up. Quinn Hughes, Anthony Francis, what the hell did I say? That's not how you start off the Cup Finals. Game number 2, home ice. Come on. First period. You haven't scored 1 goal through 80 minutes, man? Not 1 goal? Really? Second period. Oh my God, Rensfeld, you're a tool. I figured it out. Voodoo is real. Voodoo is real, man. Voodoo is real. We've scored 1 goal through 100 minutes. You're a tool, Rensfeld. You can't get power play. It's over. It's over. You go out on your home ice in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's how you start off this series. You work your butts off all season long to make sure you have home ice advantage in the playoffs, and you go and do that. These fans pay hundreds, thousands of dollars to see you lay 2 eggs on home ice through 2 games. Okay. Series isn't over, though. I know I'm a pessimist when it comes to these things, but it's time to pull the NHL cheese. Best lines it is. This is what we're rolling with. I am scared as hell. Who did they scratch? They scratched Chubasov. How has Chubasov been? Sure, Fitzgerald's going in. Rensfeld, I give you a little bit of credit and you go and do that. I don't want to give you 1 more game. I don't. Wait, how is Cody Tallender? Is he good yet? Is Cody Tallender good yet? Tell me he's good. Is he good? Cody Tallender's coming for a spot next season, baby. That's all I'm saying. Game number 3. This is do or die, Minnesota. This is do or die. You don't win this game. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself if we don't win the Cup this season. I don't know what to do with this team. I know we have to move forward somehow. But if we win a Cup, things go a lot more smoothly than if we lose here. Madison Square Garden, game number 3. Do or die, baby. First period. Yes. 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 Minnesota, you killed them. Alexei Petrangelov starts off the scoring. Alexei Petrangelov was the only guy to score a goal through the first 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. Langweeder, Francis, Langweeder, Francis. There's 2 hat-trick watches at this moment in Thalberger with a minute left. Second period. Newman scores 2. We have 3 players on hat-trick watch. You go into Madison Square Garden and you mutilate them. You kill them. Can we put up 10 goals? Do it, Minnesota. Do it. I don't care. I mean, I care. Do it. Just hurt them. Make them pay. But don't get them too angry. Just hurt them enough. They come onto our home ice. Go there and destroy them. Game number 3. First game in Madison Square Garden. We absolutely murder them. A phenomenal Game 3 performance. We hit the best lines. Cheese. EA Voodoo is in the works right now, folks. Alexei Petrangelov now leads the team in points with a phenomenal... He's been the best player through the Stanley Cup Finals so far. Game number 4. Back here in Madison Square Garden. A chance to tie this series and make it a best of 3. Here we go. First period. Yes. Yes. Newman. Petrangelov. Yes. Yes! Minnesota, keep it going! Second period. Yes! Thalberger, you beauty! This guy literally only scores goals. Every time I check the score sheet, he's like, oh, he scored a few goals, huh? Strange. Savoie makes it a 3-goal game about halfway through the second period on the power play. Okay, shots are in New York's favor. We have a chance to tie this series and head back to Minnesota where we had a lot of issues, but just finish this game out, Minnesota. An early power play for New York, we kill it off. Power play for us, they kill it off. But this looks like it might be good for Minnesota. Petrangelov again. Guy has been the best player through the Stanley Cup playoffs. Sergei Gogolev gets on the board. I'm surprised. And in 2 games in Madison Square Garden, we tie up the series. After laying 2 eggs on our home ice, we go into Madison Square Garden and do exactly what they did to us. Petrangelov has been the man. It is a best of 3. The New York Rangers are trying to win their first ever Stanley Cup, or their first Stanley Cup since 1994. Yes, 1994. It's been a long time coming. Minnesota has waited a little less time, but we want it just as bad. I'm sure you have an old, grizzled Henrik Lundqvist coaching this team. I'm sure he's there trying to help out the Rangers, do everything in his power. He might even dress for them at some point. Game number 5. It is a best of 3. We have been in this situation before. All the momentum is on our side. 14 goals in 2 games compared to 1 in the first 2. Game number 5. Here we go. Best of 3. First period. What is with the home ice? Like Rensfeld, you go to the other team's ice and he's like the best goalie in history. Rensfeld. Second period. Okay. We make it a game. 2 straight goals, Kaprizov and Eichel. And Mackey's in net. Oh, God. I get it. I get why Mackey's in net. I get it. We're doubling them in shots, man. We're doubling them in shots. Third period, please, can we get a little bit of magic? Please, Minnesota, make it a game. Yes, Bobby Bobson. There's 15 minutes remaining. Make it a game. Make it a game. Make it a game, Minnesota. Make it a game. 10 minutes remaining. 8 minutes remaining. Can we get one? Can we get one and force OT? Jack Eichel! That's what we got you for, Jack Eichel! You absolute beauty! Are we going to OT? Yes, we are! It can't get any bigger than this. We force OT in game number 5. The winner of this game will be 1 game away from the Stanley Cup. Kaprizov in front gets picked off by, I can't recall who that is. Is that Dow Cole in front for Savoie? And he ends it just like that, you absolute fools! Oh, all that effort, Minnesota, and you drop it like that. Okay. And we will have to win 2 straight. Oh my god, what the hell was that goalie? He like slid 10 feet out of his crease. The hell was that, man? You know he was gonna shoot it. Oh, you bum. You absolute bums. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, Minnesota. Why do you gotta always do this to me? You can't give me a little bit of hope? You tie the game and you go into OT and you're like, oh, what is defense? Okay, so we're going to have to win 2 straight games to win the Stanley Cup. Madison Square Garden, here we come. There's not a lot of pep talk I can do. First period. Oh, for the love of God, we kill them. Why can't we play game 7? On their ice. Why can't we do it? Why? Marcus Mironov starts the scoring. Cale Newman and Langweeder Anton Lundell makes it a 3-1 game. Jack Eichel scores 2 straight. After tying the game late in the last game, he comes out here in the first period and is like, screw off, New York. Buffalo's totally better. Second period. Oh my god. You're gonna Rensfeldt, if you blow this! If you blow this, Rensfeldt, don't you do this to me, Rensfeldt. Third period, here we go. I get myself frickin' whiplash. Rensfeldt, for the love of... Rensfeldt, please. Oh, Fitzgerald, you absolute god. Okay, Rensfeldt, why do you have to do these things to me, Rensfeldt? It's just like a year ago I was like, Weeman, and now it's Rensfeldt, man. Why? Why? Shittill. No, don't do this, man. No. Yes. Please don't tie it. Okay. Rensfeldt, you absolute goon. You're a part of Goon Squad. Jack Eichel with the first star, 3 points. Weeman, or not, I said Weeman. Rensfeldt with -5 stars. That game shouldn't have been as close as it was. They try to tie it late. And we force a game 7. The season is on the line. It's either go big or go home. Both teams are going home. One is going home empty-handed. Game 7. Stanley Cup Finals can't get any bigger than this. We are going to slow sim. First period. Come on, Minnesota. Can we get a little bit of help? Please, Minnesota. Kaprizov, the captain, coming in clutch. I haven't seen his name a lot this series. Power play. Fitzgerald! I told you he was God! I told you! I told you! Me! I did it! Me! I did it! Me! I'm hyped! Minnesota, after 20 minutes, 18 shots, 2 goals. That's the most important stat in the NHL. Owen. Calm down. You're yelling. It's midnight. I know you're up to midnight every night and it just seems like 10 o'clock to you. But Owen, chill out. Chill out. Second period. Here we go, Minnesota. Can we keep the momentum going? Bobby Bobson! The most buttery name in the NHL! Capo Caco, screw off! Capo Caco! Bobby Bobson, you absolute beauty! Early goal in the second period makes it 3-0. Oh my god, it's happening! Quinn Hughes, I forgot you existed for like 3 seconds. Oh my god, I need to bring out the champagne. Where's the champagne? Where's the champagne? Third period is underway. Power play early. Make it 5-0. The dagger. Marcus freaking Mironov, you beauty. Yes. Yes. Power play. Cale Newmanen. Yes. Yes. Oh my God. It's happening. Yes. Yes. It's happening. This is legitimately one of the craziest series, not only the Stanley Cup Finals, that I've ever simulated. One of the craziest. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Home ice advantage goes by the wayside. OTs. Sorry, just one of them. I thought it was it there. I thought they had all the momentum. Matthew Savoie made it his own. The Stanley Cup. I'm going to tear up, boys and girls. If there's any watching. The Stanley Cup is in the building. I believe we've won the Stanley Cup at home once. One away, one once at home. Did I just say one once? That's a stupid sentence. Sorry. I'm all kerfuffled. Yes, I just used kerfuffle in a sentence. You know, at the beginning of the season, I don't care if New York scores a goal or two here. They're not scoring 6. I'm just going to talk. At the beginning of the season, I said, Jack Eichel, we're going to win a cup here soon. No, we're going to win a cup here now. We're going to do it. We are going to do it together. And we did. Jack Eichel was a big part. You can debate the trade all you want, but at the end of the day, the point of hockey is to win. Lord Stanley Cup, the most important, the most notable, the most historic trophy in all of sports, is being awarded in Minnesota for the 3rd time in their history. Congratulations, Minnesota. You are the 2029 Stanley Cup champions. The ups, the downs. This is definitely sweeter than number 1. And for sure sweeter than number 2. We fought and fought and fought and fought for this one. Yes, it was a different squad this time around. We fought New York. We battled them home ice. We dropped 2 in a row. 2. It was rough. We go into Madison Square Garden. We whoop them. We destroy them. We come back to Minnesota, lay an egg. In OT. And we force a Game 7. We go out in Minnesota. We're like, let's do it for the fans. And they walk away with the most important win of some of these guys' careers. Some of these guys are winning for the first time. Some of them have been to the dance before, but it's just as sweet as the first time. Probably even sweeter. I feel bad for New York. They gave up a damn good fight. Your Conn Smythe winner, the Russian-American beauty, Alexei Petrangelov, was the only guy that showed up through the first 2 games and was the most valuable player, no doubt about it. But for the 3rd time in this franchise's history and the 3rd time in this captain's career, he will be hoisting the Stanley Cup. There haven't been many Russian captains in NHL history to hoist the Stanley Cup. Most recently, Kirill Kaprizov. Go to center ice and enjoy this one. We put that C on you for moments like this. You led this squad to cup number 3. Hoist it like it's your first. Enjoy it like it might be your last. Minnesota, you are on top of the hockey world. The best regular season team. Some of the best regular seasons ever. You are a modern day dynasty. I didn't know it would be this soon that we got back to the promised land, and we did. Guys like Griffin, guys like Bobby Bobson, the depth guys, they did it for us. Everybody pitched in when it mattered the most. They did. Enjoy it. Some of these guys might not be coming back. Cap is going to be a problem. But you're on top of the hockey world. Nobody can take that away from you. Some guys that I might have lost faith in, one of them being Christian Rensfeldt. We had our problems. I was yelling all series long, all season long. But I tend to do that with goaltenders, and sometimes they give you a great performance here and there. Enjoy it. Minnesota, it was a freaking pleasure. No, the series is not over, but this is sweeter than the rest of the episodes. I'll see you next time. Enjoy this one.